Welcome to Simply Simmons, where today we're going to mix it up and do something different, which we like to do here. Today I am going to make a recipe from My World Chef, which is a great website that you can go to online. And it's very different from other food websites. Most of the time you get a subscription and you're getting meals every week. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. But guess what? This is different because these are actual recipes from celebrity chefs that made them famous. And you're going to get a box. You can get a one-time box or you can have a membership. It's up to you. But you're gonna get a box with all the ingredients that will help you make their signature recipe. And then you also get to follow along on a video and watch them make it themselves. So it's a little mini food show and you have all the ingredients that you get to make it at home for your family. So if you can't be in Philadelphia and have Chef Brian Duffy's Philly lobster roll, you can have it in the comfort of your own home. And if you don't live in Dallas and can't get Tiffany Derry's Southern gumbo that she has at Roots, well, guess what? You can make it in your own home. And there's so many other recipes from celebrity chefs that you can actually learn and make and enjoy with your family. Another thing I love about this company is that for every meal you purchase, they provide 10 meals for hungry children in the United States through No Kid Hungry, which is a great foundation and great organization. So you're not only eating well, but you are supporting No Kid Hungry and giving back at the same time. So let's get started. So in order to make this recipe, not only do I have the ingredients, but as I said, I have my own cooking show to follow along here with Chef Duffy and to teach me how to make the Philly lobster roll. So I'm gonna be watching along while we make the lobster roll. So he says, okay, get everything in your mise en place. So that's the first thing we do. And I have a really great lobster roll story. I spent a lot of my political career in Maine. And of course, lobster rolls are huge there and it's something I crave all the time. And there was a place, and I think it was in Maine, called Red's, that people would just line up down the street to go and get a lobster roll. And oh my God, melt in your mouth, delicious. And being a Texan, it's hard to find a good lobster roll down here, guys. So this is the next best thing. World Chef, the Chef Brian Duffy, and he's got a twist on it because he's got a Philadelphia cheese sauce, caramelized onions, completely different than anything you're gonna see when you go and get a Maine lobster roll, but that's what makes it different and unique and makes the recipe really special to him. Okay, so now we're gonna get started. Let me see what the next thing is. Here on My World Chef, how-to recipes. Got my butter here. I've got my buns here. And I believe, because I have, believe it or not, watched this before, I did my homework, that we're going to toast these buns. That's gonna be the absolute first thing that we do. So the first thing that Brian Duffy says is to go to the stove, and I have my water already here in my saucepan, and I am going to put my caramelized onions and my cheese sauce in the water and turn it on the stove and get that going so that could get nice and melty and warm. This is not just any cheese sauce, by the way. This is actually a bechamel, and if you go online to the food school portion of My World Chef, you can learn how to make a bechamel. And what Chef does is he adds several specialty cheeses as well as a powder in here to make that rich, delicious cheese sauce flavor. And of course our caramelized onions, which caramelized onions go great with everything in my book. So while our caramelized onions and our cheese sauce are heating up, we are going to start on our lobster rolls. And Chef Brian Duffy sent plenty of butter, which is my favorite ingredient in cooking. So I'm gonna turn this on with like a medium-high heat to start. We've got our special rolls here, and they're from Liscio's, which is a really great bakery. So it's not just any roll, guys. This is a special roll. So it's gonna be a yummy lobster roll, I can tell you that already. Okay, so I'll be right back to turn those buns over. Let's see here. It's not ready. That one looks good. That one looks good. Now, I kind of messed up one of these buns because I cut it too much. Don't tell Brian, please. Don't tell him I messed up one of his buns. Uh-oh, okay. That's okay, you know what? We can always put things back together. Okay, so I think most of my buns are ready. Yeah, that looks really nice. Really pretty. Oh, and it's nice and crunchy. Put these on a platter. And then, this one also looks nice and ready to go. I'm gonna take that off for a minute, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna put our lobster in that delicious butter. We're ready for our next step in our World Chef lobster roll, and I have strained out the lobster, as we talked about before, to get that liquid out, and we are going to add some more butter. So here we go, one more pat of butter. As soon as that melts down, we are then going to add our lobster. So we can go ahead and start adding our lobster. And you've got knuckles in here, you've got claws in here, so everybody that gets the lobster roll can have all the best pieces of the lobster. We're gonna let that warm up, saute down, and then of course we're gonna add more butter. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna put it back at our workstation. So we're almost finished with our lobster, and I'm gonna, believe it or not, add some more butter because we are going to throw in a few of these onions and have them incorporate into the lobster. I like onions a lot. And of course, Duffy has some kind of fancy name for the red onion, which is Brinoise or something like that. I'm not really sure what it is. And then we're gonna do some chives here. So it's really getting bright and beautiful now. And everything's incorporated lovely. No lobster has been harmed yet or is on the floor in this demonstration. And I'm gonna take this and I will meet you back at our lobster roll assembling station. So we've cooked our lobster actually. So we have sauteed our lobster in the butter, it was already cooked. And we are ready to start assembling, and the smell wafting is so delicious. The only thing it's missing is a little cognac. I've never had cognac in a lobster roll, but I like cognac and butter, so no, it's delicious actually. It smells delicious. So we're gonna start assembling our lobster rolls. I may need some gloves because of the cheese sauce. Oh Lord, I can't wait to get to that. I'll tell you why in a minute. So I am going to start by taking the knuckles and loading the knuckles inside the lobster rolls, which is what Chef Duffy has said. So everybody gets the knuckle meat first, and then from there, we can give them the claws and the succulent stuff, but all of this is just delicious, so it doesn't matter what part of it you get. And just go back and forth with your meat. And it doesn't matter if somebody actually gets a claw in the beginning, because everybody's gonna get claws eventually. And just keep building and keep adding lobster until all the lobster rolls are overflowing. I'm gonna take a little bit more of that butter because I like my butter. Put it on here. Now that looks good. Actually, you know what? Watch this, Brian Duffy. Catch me outside, how about that? Got more butter than you did. Okay. There we go. Now the video says that the next thing we do, we're gonna take a little bit more of this red onion and we're gonna sprinkle it on top for a little bit of crunch. I love onion. I like fresh onion on almost everything. So I'm down with this program. Do that. And then comes the tricky part for me. Well, if you've watched my videos before, you know how I love to work with a pastry bag. So here we go. We're gonna try one more time. This is not a pastry bag, but a pastry bag-ish thing may be harmed in the making of this video. And so may I be harmed in the making of this video? Okay, taking out the cheese sauce is what we're doing next. This is what you're telling me, Brian. Cutting, I'm sorry, I'm gonna start laughing, but he probably doesn't know. I had a really big issue with the pastry bag and carbones. Okay, cut the top. Try this. Is this gonna be hot? It's not too hot. And he's saying to take it like this from the bottom. Okay, squeeze from the bottom, people, not from the middle. Maybe that was my problem. And then, let's see if we can get this out. And then we're gonna top these lobster rolls with this cheese sauce. Oops, okay. Working. 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 Arts and crafts is not my thing, but that's okay. I can go back and go like this and make it look like it's supposed to be like that. We've added our cheese sauce, so let's look at the next step. So we're gonna finish assembling our lobster roll. No need to worry about my cheese not being so attractive because we have other toppings that will hide that, just like I said before. Finish using your red onion, just kind of sprinkle it all over the lobster rolls, just like that. Then we're gonna take the rest of these chives, and that is a garnish. Actually, I am going to take these caramelized onions, and this is where I'm gonna save myself, going back on top like this. So nobody's gonna know that my pastry bag skill set is not fantastic. We have a little smoked salt, which is unique to the Philadelphia lobster roll. I'm gonna just sprinkle the smoked salt on the lobster rolls. And we have a little pepper here, which I love pepper, so as much pepper or as little pepper as you want. Smells great. And then we have the rest of the chives, which if yours may be a little bit messy, we can kind of just put some more chives on there. Doesn't really matter if it's a little messy if it tastes delicious. So we have assembled our lobster rolls, and the very last chefy thing I'm going to do is finish cleaning up this plate, which I already started. So that way the presentation is beautiful and it looks as good as it tastes. So there you go. These are Chef Brian Duffy's lobster rolls, courtesy of My World Chef, and you can make them too. So I brought Keaton and Cohen in to taste the Philly lobster rolls by Chef Brian Duffy that I recreated at home. So what do you think?
I'm ready to eat it.
Okay.
Get it going. Let's do it.
Let's taste.
Yeah, I'm not going to use the whole fork and knife thing. I'm going right in.
Well,
Same stuff. Let's see.
you know what? Let me try it. Okay, I'll do it too. Oh,
That
wow.
is really good.
It's really good.
That came out good.
And
What's my favorite dish you cooked so far?
what?
I'm not gonna lie.
And it's not in my recipe?
Big lobster guy. That's why. I'm gonna agree.
God, Duffy, you went out to me again. Ugh.